America's Middle Beach Volleyball capital, Chicago, the Windy City, Buckingham Fountain, so many beautiful sights in this incredible space. And here, Oak Street Beach, our stadium court, has been our home for 3 days of action. Our women's champions are in the books. Our men are about to take the sand for the 2024 Chicago Open final match. Andy Benesh and Miles Partain taking on Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander, both victorious earlier today in our semifinals. This is our final of 6 matches in our sold-out, packed, rockin' stadium. Welcome into our broadcast location. Once again, Kevin Barnett joined by Olympic champions April Ross and Rich Lamborn. April, a team coming off the Olympics right now. Andy Benesh, Miles Partain, looking for a victory on the AVP. How did they get it done in this one?
I think it's going to come down to their passing and their serving in this match. They're going to have to pass the tough jump serves of Taylor Sander and Taylor Crabb enough so that they can jump set and run their systematic offense. And they're going to have to serve tough, get the other team out of system. Okay, Coach Rich Lamborn, you have coached this pair that is going to be on the other side of the sand.
Well, yeah, they have a lot of firepower, as April mentioned, from the end line. Taylor Sander with a rocket of an arm, no matter where he's hitting the ball from. They're going to have to work on neutralizing the option offense of Benesh and Partain. However, we saw Kristen Nuss do a great job doing that to the Canadians in the women's final. Can T. Crabbs do it to Andy and Miles out there on the sand?
Yeah, the big question with T. Crabbs all weekend. You've been on social. You have seen it from the moment it started. He's been wearing shoes on the sand due to a foot issue and a swollen foot. But, Rich, it really hasn't slowed him down.
Yeah, it looks like he walks a little bit funny, but once the ball's in the air, he's as speedy as ever.
So, April, you joined the sand. Did you ever think about keeping the shoes on?
Never. I still think he lost a bet. I'm not buying the medical reason.
You want to go back and review the fantasy football records from last year?
I do, yes.
Yeah, most definitely. T. Crabbs has been in those all week, but to no bad effect. The Taylors looking for another title on the AVP against the Olympic representatives, the youngsters. Who comes out on top? That match is up next.
Every night at 9.
Freshers.
59 matches in the book. You're welcome and thank you, Chicago. You have shown up big. We have one to go here on Stadium Court. One last time, let's have Mark Sherman bring our men out and get started on this championship match.
One to go. One more match, ladies and gentlemen. We got Taylor, Andy and Miles ready to light this up one more time. Are you with me? Yes, let's do it. Here we go. Come on in. Come on in. First up, the high-flying, hard-hitting indoor Olympian and now star on the beach out of Corona, California. Give it up for Taylor Sander. And his partner from Honolulu, Hawaii. Incredible back there. And ladies and gentlemen, he's wearing shoes. He's doing it all with shoes on. I mean, what's all that about? I don't know. But for some reason, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Taylor Crabb. And their opponents all the way through the winner's bracket. First up, the big fella, the blocker, standing at 6 feet 11 inches tall. I don't know how tall are you, 10 inches, 6 feet 9, 7 feet 2. You look way taller than that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Andy Benesh. Yes, Andy. And his partner. Listen, I don't care how tall he is. I don't care about any of that. All I care about is he does things that I have seen nobody else in the world do, everybody. Out of Pacific Palisades, the future of volleyball. He is Miles Partain.
Kevin Barnett champions April Ross and Rich Lambourne settling into our crow's nest view, ready for this one on Stadium. Our 60th match taking shape. You heard the players come out. Second meeting all time between these pairs. 21-16, 27-25. Benesh and Partain came out on top in Manhattan Beach 2 weeks ago. Andy Benesh, just one block, but was unstoppable offensively, hitting almost 800. And uncharacteristically, Taylor Crabb in that second set, a deuce set loss overtime. He was 4 of 15 offensively. That is unusual.
It might be the shoes.
It might be the shoes. My main man, Money, about to get a swing here.
Yeah, you can see him hobble a little bit after he lands, but that certainly didn't slow down the pace on that cross-court swing.
No, not affecting his right arm. Taylor Crabb, a foot issue, swollen foot all weekend, even Thursday night, limping. Came out in shoes. No word on whether Puma or Nike or Adidas has picked him up with some sort of sand tire look. Best thing is just not let the ball get past the net. Taylor Sanders.
It's an effective strategy, I've heard. I also heard they're calling it his shoe game. It's the shoe game, like Michael Jordan's flu game.
Any and all Michael Jordan tie-ins welcome.
Yes. Yeah, certainly in this city.
Benesh will try and go on 2, gets a reset out of it, back set. Miles Partain, the youngster, just 22 years old, left college early, still had eligibility, was still a reigning All-American for UCLA, and John Spar, the national team coach, and decided to focus on beach full time, alongside Andy Benesh, the elder statesman out of USC. Benesh checking in at 29 years old. The former middle blocker laces it down the middle. Crabb hits another winner to the back line.
Tremendous pass set combination inside of the Taylors.
That's a tough serve. That was, he dialed that up. So yeah, I agree. That was a great pass by Taylor.
Going shoes and high socks. Word has it from our buddy Dane Blanton. He said that Mike Fitzgerald of Pepperdine used to wear shoes on the beach in the 90s due to a foot injury that he had had previously. Apparently that was a regular thing. I don't think Taylor Crabb's looking to make this regular, but his play has been very regular. He's been unaffected.
With apologies to Mike, slightly less memorable than T. Crabb's in the world of beach volleyball.
True story. Partain and Benesh have yet to lose a set in this tournament.
You see how high that ball goes above the tape? That's not ideal. That's not what we're looking for in a jump serve. We want that jump serve to be as fast as possible, as low to the tape as possible. I think it speaks to his level of aggression at the moment.
Well, that's April Ross. She's going to be in the league. Upcoming play starts in 2 weeks. In April, I'm wondering who you and Alex would like to be paired with the men's side, because it's one female, one male team in each one of our 8 cities.
Definitely a hot topic, and we've contemplated it a lot. I mean, obviously, all these teams are great. I think I'd like to work with a team that we can collaborate with. You know,
okay.
A team where you can coach a little bit, who maybe can offer us some insights as well. I want to play with someone who feels like a real team. So I don't know. I think Trevor and Theo would be a great team to be paired with. Also, either one of these teams would be great. So not least of all because they're both in the finals.
So you're looking for one of the Crabb brothers and some excellence. Understood. Very good. That ball all the way to the corner and in. You saw the road for Crabb and Sander to get here. Benesh and Partain, undefeated, have played minimal volleyball here in Chicago. On the other side, it was 4 victories yesterday after a first-round loss for Taylor and Taylor. Rich, do you think that comes into effect here in this match here, Championship Sunday?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just because, you know, I think everybody, this is where they want to be in the finals. You know, this is your last match either way, and so you leave everything you've got out there.
And maybe a good break with the weather. We've had weather cooling over the last 3 days. The hottest day of the week was 96 degrees, but that was Thursday before we got here, and now it's 75 and a light breeze. Beautiful sun.
Kevin waxing poetic about the weather here in Chicago.
Well, you have to understand it's a big deal when you get a nice day in Chicago. As the Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corrigan from Chicago once described it, he said, I come from a place that is a dark basement known as Chicago.
You know, so one thing that's notable is when you're injured and maybe you aren't jumping as high as you normally are, it pulls in all your other senses. You have to rely on everything you have, and I feel like that's what's happening with Taylor right now. Maybe he has better vision. Maybe his contact is a little bit better. It is like the flu game for Michael Jordan. Every time I've had an injury, for some reason, you find a way to make it work.
And I wonder how that affects your partner, too, because I think back to you playing alongside a very injured Kerry Walsh for a long time, and you carrying a massive load at the time, being the best player on the planet for a large stretch there. Did it increase your focus because you knew you had to carry that?
100%, yeah. I knew I had to do everything I could to help her, but at the same time I had a little bit of freedom. Okay, her shoulder's very banged up. Nobody's expecting us to do anything, and so I had that freedom to step in and take control wherever I could. And I started developing my on-two at that point. And I remember we were playing in Long Beach, and I would take every opportunity to go on two. I'm like, oh, this is an effective strategy. Let's keep this.
Freedom and focus for April Ross. Hell on earth for everyone else. That ball finds the back line once again. Both sides showing you their court awareness and ability to find the sideline. 6-7, close first set action. It was straight sets last time they met. It was Benesh and Partain with the victory, but not without some quite close play in the second. Benesh trying to get it going from the line, clips the tape. Go. Partner underneath it. And a little more aggression from Sander.
I do appreciate that about Taylor Sander. He shows no lack of aggression.
Certainly if a ball's teed up right on the net with no block, he is going to annihilate it.
Benesh and Partain defeated Chicago's own David Wazorek 2-0 in the first. They've gone 2-0 entirely through, including a win over TNT in the semifinal. Oh, yeah! That ball is blocked. Here comes a moment of Crabb and Sander. That's 6'4" and 6'9", Rich, at the net, but maybe not as much of a disadvantage as that size differential would suggest.
Certainly not. I mean, with the jumping ability of Taylor Sander, talked to him a little bit before this match, and he's going intentionally to a little bit of swing blocking. He feels like it helps his vision because he remains focused on the hitter longer.
Good history of smaller players playing big. Anthony Edwards, perhaps. According to the internet, another Michael Jordan tie-in.
Muggsy Bogues.
Oh, you're going 5'3" now? How short do you think Sander and Crabb are? 8-8 first set action. Playing a 21 win by 2 for the first two. It's best 2 of 3. If we go to a third set as we did with the women, it'll be played a 15 win by 2. There's a block from the big man, Andy Benesh.
From here, it looked like he was lined up in Taylor's line and then dropped his inside hand and got that ankle hit. It's a great block.
Fight on, April Ross. Andy Benesh out of USC. Partain, almost an identical serve. And April Ross, a stressed reaction.
Trying not to cringe too hard. I know he's capable of more. I just want to go down there and help him.
Do you think that's a toss issue, or do you think he's just trying to curl that in to give his defense a chance?
I think he's coming in too soon. So you got to toss the ball, be patient, see your toss, and then go get it. He's tossing and rushing underneath it, and then he's hitting the ball as it's on top of him, and he can't drive it forward as much as I would hope.
Go!
Partain with an opportunity taken.
Really good pickup on the cut shot to start that off for Partain and Benesh.
I've been really impressed with Miles's defense. His moves, his balance, reading ability.
A little 4-1 run for Benesh and Partain, trying to take us to the technical timeout with a 5-1. Tight to the net. That one chipped over the top, and it'll be 11-10 at our first technical timeout. Each of the first two sets will have a technical. When the scores add up to 21, teams get a chance to take a break.
We got a bunch of contestants you did not know.
And we will be back to the shores of Oak Street Beach along Lake Michigan for more of this men's final. We're halfway through set 1. Thanks for being with us here on the CW.
Yeah, baby, that is right. It is time. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not be happier to be right here, right now. We're in Austin, Dallas, Texas, San Diego. Get involved and have a reaction out here.
We're in Chicago, concluding the Heritage Series and leading to the AVP League run. This entire fall, you want it to feel like summer. This man has got you covered. Bobby Corvino, our AVP League commissioner, and oversee the placement of teams into city squads. Coming up this week, we'll have the announcement of who is where, who is paired up with whom. Does April Roche get her wish? Does she get her first draft pick, her second draft pick? Here is the field on the men's side. The legend Philip Dalhauser making his way into the league alongside former national team player Paul Lotman, along with a host of other young talent, Cody Caldwell, Sean Cook, an exciting pair. And Taylor are going to be there as well. Taylor Crabb serves, and that one stays on top of the tape out of our technical timeout.
In real one, in the triple over. 12-10.
AVP League going to start in Los Angeles in 2 weeks' time. There'll be 9 weeks of play with our league championship being the 9th back in LA. All over the place. Dallas, Austin, Miami, Palm Beach. Come out and see us. Oceanside, San Diego. You have lots of opportunities to get that summer vibe in October, November. All right, Rich Lamborn, you've been in the box with this pair before. You've coached them. You've analyzed a match. You've had it all in front of you. Where do you go? Who do you serve? What strategy do you want to put out on the sand?
Well, I think
how about
that
serving?
right there, yeah, we got to keep it in, of course, but you want to give Sander a little bit of a green light.
Okay.
And I think first and foremost, you want him to hit his best serve. If he's hitting his best serve, it doesn't necessarily matter which way it goes. You just want him to hit that thing hard, hit it in the court, cause some problems for the opponent.
Yeah, when he's got his serve going, it is by far the hardest one on the beach.
Big dig by Miles Partain, trying to convert it and trying to snap it over the top. Just did not get crisp contact.
That's when it comes in handy to be a little shorter as a blocker.
Okay.
Also, a shorter blocker can be more deceptive. For a hitter, you can't see them as well, and if they make really fast late moves, they can trap a hitter into doing some stuff that's easier to block.
We just saw Brandy Wilkerson pick up some swats as that ball goes through and then back off the defense. Brandy Wilkerson, smaller at 5'11" for a blocker worldwide, for sure, the Olympic silver medalist.
Yeah, I think the same thing goes into play for her. She can squat down really low, stay out of the hitter's eyesight, and then make late moves that they're not expecting.
Wilkerson and Humana Paredes, our Chicago Open champions. The match played right before this one. Thanks for being with us here on CW. Our championship finals, both men's and women's, here from Oak Street Beach. Oh, that ball pushed and then pushed to the corner. A lot of movement going on, Rich. They're trying to get out from in front of 6'9".
Yeah, I don't know that that was completely intentional. The pass just got a little bit left, but they made the adjustment from there to keep that spacing nicely.
Working on Benesh. And the opportunity taken by Partain off the bad pass. It was very interesting last time they played. It was kind of one set where Taylor Crabb struggled and another set where Taylor Sanders struggled. Thus far in this one, offensively, it really hasn't been a struggle for either side, both hitting 467. Benesh is hitting 0, but that's because he has almost no attempts. They've kept the ball away from him, including here, in fact, outside of the playing area.
Yeah, I think Miles and Andy are definitely winning the passing and the serving battle at the moment.
Okay, so it's 16-13. you're trailing by 3, but you've been focusing on Benesh. Do you go to Partain?
I think, like Rich said, you got to give Taylor Sander the green light to serve his best serve. He needs to go corner to corner, give himself the most area to hit, and then Taylor's got to serve strategically. I don't know if there's a better option, Miles versus Andy, but maybe some short serves, maybe some middle serves, make them battle over it in the middle.
Yeah, spot serving. I had it backwards. Sorry, I mean, Partain's been getting the majority of opportunities here. 12 attempts to Andy's 3.
Yeah, I think they've both been siding out pretty well, so just making them move a little bit more.
Here they do go to Benesh. And don't get him there. 17-14.
It's a good opportunity, though.
Yeah,
Taylor Sander made a nice move into that angle, right? Got a lot of wood on it, but turns out it's hard to block.
if you're being super technical, you can see when he dives so far, his right arm is coming off the net, and so Andy's hitting that right arm, and it's ricocheting out of bounds. If he can keep his shoulders more parallel to the net, maybe that gets blocked.
Go.
And diving Partain gets it, sprinting from far, and then putting it away middle. There's what all the excitement is surrounding the future of Miles Partain.
That was a great play by Miles. Super dynamic, but you can also tell that Crabb is not feeling it as much. He's not as mobile as he normally is. He's usually laying out for that ball, so I do think I'm buying it a little bit more that maybe he is injured under those shoes.
All right.
The podiatrist said it is a floating bone fracture in the foot.
Ooh, that sounds painful.
Yeah.
Taylor Sander might want to do a little bit more of this on 2.
And he can. He's so athletic. I feel like he needs to take those opportunities as much as possible.
Partain short, jump set executed and put away. Andy and Miles have adopted some of those strategies we've seen take the world by storm.
We saw that swing blocking be very effective in the semifinal match that Taylor and Taylor played earlier this morning, but as of yet, not getting a ton of traction against Andy and Miles here.
That service not getting a ton of traction, but they'll score on that one. There are 0 aces in this match thus far. Set point upcoming. Benesh and Partain, one of the least emotional teams you'll find out here on the sand.
They are all business, which you have to appreciate.
I don't have to, April.
I mean, they do well.
They do.
They have their vibe.
They have some volleyball
You have to respect
excellence.
it.
That's true. That is true. That ball overpass cannot be picked up. And it takes just one opportunity for Benesh and Partain to close it. They've won 9 straight sets. They are completely undefeated here in Chicago and looking for another title. They're +6 in the first. It's up to Crabb and Sander to respond. Can the Taylors come back, or is it going to be more of the big man? And then the Windy City Championship. The Wind, our men's championship final. Coming into set number 2, Kevin Barnett alongside Rich Lambourne and April Ross, both Olympic champions. And there is 2-time champion in Chicago, Trevor Crabb, enjoying the final. Local illusionist Troy Field behind him, mimicking a push. And why is that, Rich Lambourne? Yesterday's festivities?
There was a little bit of contact physically yesterday. You see it there. Lest you thought beach volleyball was not a physical sport.
Chase Budinger had enough of the chatter. This was post-match, and Trevor said, yeah, I got you back, and maybe we're even now. That was the most exciting thing to happen in a very long time.
And the cool head of Nick Lucena intervening.
Yes, noted diplomat Nick Lucena, who in his day may or may not have charged up the bleachers. Way back.
Why are we talking about old stuff, Kevin?
Let's talk about the current stuff right here. A 5-1 run for Benesh and Partain to win that first set. Looking for the title here in Chicago. There's finally some rip from the service line. And at the net.
Yeah, that's what you need to see. That's what we need from Taylor if they're going to make a push here in the second set. He's doing exactly as I suggested, corner to corner, giving himself some space and hitting that ball hard.
They've gone to serving Andy Benesh as Miles Partain was unstoppable in the first set. And Benesh proves stoppable here.
He got a pep talk in between sets.
You think Chris Crabb laid into him? Yeah, it's so phenomenal that he's got that heater and then he can roll that short ball short.
Yeah, that's monster block.
Our rainstorm monster block goes to Taylor Sander.
But that's when it's acceptable to take something off the jump, right? Is when you hammer one and then you make it look the same, but you drop it short. Super tough to read.
Trying to go on choose Miles Partain. A rare miss thus far for him in the final. 3-0 the open. We've seen teams take a timeout at 3-0. I don't think it's happening now. Might at 4. Ripping it again. On to Benesh one more time. Same matchup at the net. This time, Benesh puts it down the line. And Benesh very few offensive opportunities in the first.
Yeah, I mean, that is not an easy ball to take across your body with that level of precision from deep in the court. High spinny pass.
See if Miles Partain responds to anything from the line himself. No, same chip shot. Push through back. That looked like an adjustment by Benesh.
That was a nice move by Benesh, and you'd like to see Sander a little more kind of dialed into covering there, right? Just loses focus momentarily.
I also want to see him go on two. Taylor's obviously hurting a little bit, and that pass was a perfect opportunity for him to detonate on two, and he's going to have to do that.
Second block for Benesh, but he's been effective at the net in other ways, channeling the ball to his partner. No 1-2 here. Same shot, run down. Look who's at the net this time. Oh, bump warning.
I would wager a guess that Taylor Crabb has the best blocking percentage on the beach. Anytime he gets stuck at the net, I swear I see him get a block.
Get Andy Benesh some off or something.
He is
I think
uncanny.
Deep would take care of that guy.
Deep?
That ball is wide and gone. This fall, the next generation of WWE superstars will have a new home when NXT moves to the CW, beginning Tuesday, October 1st. Taylor and Taylor trying to come off the top rope here in the second. 5-2 the open, looking good thus far, and another error there will be 6-2, and now is when you might see a timeout. Andy Benesh has had enough. He needs to take a seat for a minute. You always wonder what happens to a team when they get knocked down. It was 21-15. Crabb and Sander taking the L in the first. They're looking to hand Benesh and Partain their first set defeat of the entire tournament time here in Chicago. Chris Crabb, dad to Trevor and Taylor. He's going to be the first one to give them some advice. They'll talk it through as we continue to here in Chicago. We appreciate you being with us here on the CW. It has been, as usual, a beautiful event and a great way to end the summer. But this isn't the end, April. This is just the beginning of AVP League. You're about to embark on a very interesting and different kind of event.
Yeah, something we've never seen before. We get to represent different cities around the country and hopefully create some rivalries between them. We get paired up with a men's team. It's going to be really exciting, and I'm so grateful that Alex and I have more opportunity to play. We haven't played very much this summer. Could be our farewell tour. We'll see, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the thing, Rich, right? Opportunity for these players on the beach to ply their trade, earn a paycheck, continue to get better.
Absolutely. You talked about maybe a partnership with Trevor Crabb. Are you willing to get physical out there for your team in the league, April?
You know, I could be talked into it. We'll see.
We will let you know if April Ross gets a red card at all. just in team practice during the week.
I will be glad to have Trevor on my side and not chirping at me from the other side.
We wondered if the strategy might change coming out of that first set in which Crabb and Sander stayed on Partain the majority of the time. Here in the second set, they have served Benesh 6 times and scored 5 points. Benesh will do the serving right now. They've been targeting Crabb. That one is going to be a little too far for Andy Benesh to track down.
Might have got there if he had shoes on. Just saying.
Andy Benesh, I mean, showing off the athleticism there, though. He doesn't quite get all the way to that ball, but the movement from the big fella was impressive.
He's definitely picking up some speed.
You might be picking up on some of the team names here scattered around our stadium court. Miami Mayhem, LA Launch. We know that Miami Mayhem is your first pick. What's your second pick?
I was actually considering this because it's up on the banner in the stadium. And second pick, I like the New York Nitro.
Okay, a little bit of pop in that for you.
Yeah.
You a Fast and the Furious fan too?
I actually am.
You are? Oh, great. I love it. A little Nas for April.
Sander, that was a sick cover. Oh, my goodness.
I think I stopped keeping track after maybe the 3rd or 4th movie, but I was pretty into it until then.
Yeah, I think there's 10 now. Is the full count.
I believe it.
Nice dig out of the net by Andy Benesh and Miles Partain.
Those are heartbreakers if you're the Taylors because you get the shank pass, but Miles Partain, just a beautiful play, getting low enough to get underneath that for a great set.
April, we had this debate yesterday. You may have a good opinion on this. The shadows are starting to creep over Andy Benesh. You see him there. As the sun starts to go behind some of the larger buildings here in downtown Chicago, over the next half an hour, it's going to completely cover the court. Do you like the ball to come from inside the shadow to out or outside to in as that ball is put away outside in by Miles Partain?
To be completely honest, I have never considered that. And it has never made a difference for me. I've never thought anything of the ball coming into or out of the shade. The only thing that matters in situations like this is when the sun is like barely peeking over a building and just gets you in the eye unexpectedly. And sometimes you want to change the lenses on your glasses, right? So you go from maybe a darker shade to a lighter shade to accommodate for both different lights.
All right, we'll see if anybody makes that adjustment here as you see the shadow on the left side of your screen creeping over the Taylors after the side switch.
Hey! Like T. Crabbs and
9,
April
7.
Ross, you want to get yourself an Oakley sponsorship so that you're free to change those lenses at will.
Oakley has supplied me with every different kind of shade on the planet. It is pretty amazing. I'm equipped for all different situations.
In tough parenting moments, just go rose-colored. Ace serve there.
Exactly. That's it. Yep. That's what Taylor Sander needs to do right there. And he can do that over and over again when he gets in a rhythm.
Well, notably, he's been after it in this set. A marked change from someone. And going into the angle, harder this time and a little wide.
Interestingly, Benesh kind of slid towards the middle.
Yeah, I think he thought he was going to go for the hat trick. One on the sideline, one in the middle, one on the other sideline.
That's called the gib.
Oh, it's called the gib, sorry. Why is it called the gib?
Well, because every time he served an ace one way, he would go the other direction. I would like to serve the same person, but Jake Gibb would go line and then go the other side.
He would very purposefully do that if he would kind of go, like you just said, sideline, middle, other sideline.
He wasn't a repeat server.
For me, that dates back to Elaine Young's. She would do that to people. She had one of the best jump serves on the beach.
Benesh hard into the angle. Cannot be handled in bounds by T. Crabbs. 11-8 turned into a little bit of a side-out battle for the moment. Set 2 offense. Benesh and Partain still down to 0-8-3. Crabb and Sander at 375. Taylor Crabb getting all the work in those shoes. Benesh doing work on the return. There's an option play.
Partain has been so good defensively. Not only digging the hard driven there, but he's run down some excellent shots.
I don't know if anyone studies the game more than Miles Partain.
An analytical mind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know firsthand, but I've heard multiple stories about how dedicated he is to learning about the sport and studying it.
Yeah, you just have one conversation with Miles and you'll understand how analytical he can be about life, not just volleyball. As we hit 12-9, double figures for Partain in digs and in kills. His team up 1-0, but trailing here at the technical 12-9. Taylor's good response, but they're going to have to complete the journey in the second to force a third here on the CW, our championship match. The final one continues. Empty the sand out of your shoes and come on back for more. The Merchandise Mart along the Chicago River. Some of the beautiful sights you can see in this Midwest metropolis. My home city and a beautiful place to spend a 75-degree day in August. It doesn't get any better than this as we tilt over towards Labor Day and the end of the Heritage Series and the beginning of the AVP League. Thanks for being with us here from the Chicago Open. 30 years ago, it all started here. Stadium Court, Oak Street Beach. Excellent response after the first set loss, 21-15. Taylor Crabb, Taylor Sander went down. They've gotten more aggressive and to effect 12-9 here in the second. That ball dug by Crabb. Sander got it. Crabb at the net. Is he 100% still? He would have been, but he didn't.
Oh no!
Tragedy strikes.
It's heartbreaker for the Taylors.
It is always devastating when your opponent makes an error or your partner makes a dig and you're into the net.
Strangely enough, that is just the second dig for Taylor Crabb. To your point, April, about how much the foot may be affecting him.
Yeah, I coincidentally had to play a final with a broken toe one time, and it is not easy.
Partain to dig there. Love to convert this one, and he does. Miles Partain can be ruthlessly efficient at times. So, second dig for Taylor Crabb. Partain in double figures himself.
He seems to have an ability to create angles from any angle.
I'd say if he has a tendency, it would be that. It's a good one to have.
High line, look at that, a little stab, enough control. Check down winner. Oh, this is why people are so excited about the young man.
That dig is tremendous, but how about the set as well from Andy Benesh?
Our Wilson play of the day will be this dig to transition kill to spearhead a 5-1 run. All of a sudden, here come Benesh and Partain. Look like the Taylors might be able to take control. It has been taken back by the number 2 seed. A little bit of a push to the pin there. Partain not one to give up on a play, nearly had it.
Benesh doing such a nice job affecting those shots, though, forcing them to go up and over. It allows Partain to be so patient behind him. You can see he's kind of holding his ground until the shot leaves the hand of Taylor Crabb, and then he makes his move.
Benesh has been the target. He's down below 100 in this set, but he'll add to it there. The amount of times I've seen a jump set from Miles and then a line attack from Andy, I could go on through the tournament with those, pull them up as highlights. Why does he attack lines so much off the jump set?
Well, his tendency, I think that's his favorite swing, is that crossbody swing, first of all, but also it kind of plays into that spacing, right? You get the blocker to kind of pause and then have to chase you.
But I also think teams have to have a default defense when they see that happening. So they have a predetermined set play, and a lot of times it's the blocker just stopping early, so they're balanced in the angle, and it opens up the line for that hitter to attack.
First lead of the set off another transition from Miles Partain. That was almost a magic casting dig right there. Hands out like a wizard.
That concludes the nerd interlude of the finals, April.
Would you prefer Santa versus Jesus in the original South Park? Would you prefer that? Yaktuki. 14 apiece. Sand timeout. Chance to wipe the glasses down as the shadows have almost totally eclipsed our stadium court. Just a little bit of sun remaining in the face of Benesh and Partain off to their left side, and that has been a key here. The surface pressure of Sander misses there, 15-14.
Now Sander has to find a way to insert himself in the side out. He can't just continue to set Taylor Crabb. I think he's got to work in some on twos.
Ripper dug up. Partain.
That is a great dig.
Right into your living room, Miles. Oh, yeah.
Not even phased by the chin music there. 9-3 run. Going wild here in the second set. Come on. Chunked that one. It's in anyhow. Andy chasing. Couldn't quite get there.
A full strength Taylor Crabb, I think you'd see getting up and crushing some of these balls, right? Like this is way more than he would ever shoot the ball.
That one off of Crabb. 17-15. Maybe time wasted now for Crabb and Sander to extend this match.
Yeah, they've still got that weapon on their side in the form of Taylor Sanders' serve. Side out here, and he gets to go back at it.
That ball scooped over. Benesh will scramble out of the sand. Tough swing here. And he manufactures it into a point anyway. Fifth place finish at the Olympic Games for this pair, looking for their first AVP Tour victory. They finished second in Manhattan Beach, losing to Taylor Crabb's brother Trevor.
It's just unfortunate how obviously limited Taylor Crabb is right now. This is not the level of play that we're used to seeing from him, but it's because of his injury, 100%.
Yeah, it's finally gotten to him the entire weekend. The Survivor Saturday, as another ball is shanked off sideways. 15-19. Benesh and Partain trying to be kings of Chicago. They'll dine with the Fromans tonight after a victory. Here's the on two you wanted. This will have to be on three. And it'll be into the net. We are to a match point.
It was effective. They got a free ball back.
You would have liked to see Sander take that free ball.
Yeah, exactly.
See you wringing your hands over here.
Stadium on their feet. Benesh goes Ludwig, looking for the score, and throws it back for the win. A dominant performance over a depleted Taylor's, a 14-4 run to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. The midway point, it was 12-9 to the Taylors. And then the second half of the set was all Andy and Miles.
Andy Benesh, one of the more dominant blockers, had 6 blocks the last time these two teams met. Couldn't come out with the victory. This time, Andy, the beneficiary of a win. We'll hear from our champions as we wrap up the Chicago Open. Spraying the champagne after this final point. The big man at the net, finishing. A look back at our championship match and what ended up being a perfect performance to Rich Lambourne for Partain and Benesh, undefeated in Chicago.
Yeah, they didn't drop a set. They were dialed in start to finish, and it was really the defensive performance, I thought, from Miles Partain that really shone through brightest in that final.
April Ross, you wanted some aggression. You got it in the second, but Partain and Benesh responded to that.
Yeah, I think they were too solid. They had the advantage, only like staying in the winner's bracket the whole time, and it paid off.
All right, our winners are on the sand with Mark Sherman. The champagne has been sprayed. Let's hear them tell the story.
Miles and Andy, you guys were incredible, especially at the very end of set 2. We got a little tattoo right there. That ball came in so hot, and you dug it absolutely perfectly. What was going on in your head? You were so dialed in at the end.
Well, first of all, we want to thank our sponsor, Clear Street. And then, yeah, that hit was almost every time it hits me, it goes sideways. So I stayed square to the ball and it went up. That's like super rare. So yeah. I've never gotten a dig like that, and much less to transition it. It was awesome. So
that was really, really fun to see. You guys locked in there at the end. Andy, you're a champion in Chicago. The league is just a couple of weeks away. Congratulations. Talk about what this whole weekend was like in front of this crowd playing here in Chicago and getting the win.
Yeah, this is my favorite stop around the country. You guys are awesome.
My favorite in the whole world.
Yeah. You guys are awesome to play in front of such a beautiful city, and you guys love volleyball, so it's really cool to play here. And yeah, we're fortunate to make it all the way through the tournament. There's a lot of really talented teams, so you know, I don't think anybody in the world would make a final other than Taylor Crabb with shoes, but he might be the cagiest person in the world. So congrats to them on a great tournament. But yeah, we're just super happy with how we played.
Well, congratulations. It was so much fun to watch y'all in Paris, to get the win in Chicago. We'll see you in the league in just a couple weeks. Miles, Andy, you're champions in Chicago, everybody.
Andy Benesh takes home his 5th AVP title. Miles Partain his 4th, and they will carry momentum into league play. This may be the end of the Heritage Series. This is just the beginning on the women's side. Our broadcast partner here, April Ross, is about to embark on the AVP League. We have our champions, Melissa Humana-Paredes and Brandy Wilkerson, also qualified there on the women's side. On the men's side, also a top shelf field.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the best teams in the world playing here in the league, and I get to be paired with one of them. I can't wait to find out who it is.
All right, we'll see where you end up. You'll be back on the sand. Rich and I will be back in the booth. We appreciate you being with us here all day on the CW for our finals. Congratulations to the winners, Benesh, Partain, along with Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson. For my broadcast partners, Rich Lambourne and April Ross, I'm Kevin Barnett. We'll see you back out on the sand.